5 minutes for me to go through the history of the Middle East.
I actually want to go to another diplomatic development here, which is the Board of Peace that was launched here. Maybe I could start with you, Mina, and you can all come in if you want. So how do you look at it? And how does this then relate, in your view, to the chance of sustainable peace between the Israelis and the Palestinians?
I mean, look, I think it's best for Israelis and Palestinians to talk about what the chance of peace is, because ultimately it'll be for them to decide. The Board of Peace comes after much suffering, but also comes after much failure of all the processes. I mean, the peace process became something that was managed. Meetings were held on a regular basis just so that somebody could say, oh, we're trying to solve this, and nothing. So good for anyone who thinks we're going to come up with a plan and we're going to pull people. You know, you had people on stage there from various countries, some immediately affected and some surprising. You wouldn't expect that they're involved. So I think that's important, to get that buy-in, to get and renewed energy. Whatever you think of the Trump administration, when they want to put their mind to something, they can pull people together. Mm-hmm. So let's try something new. But it was interesting that the Palestinian voice that we heard from Dr. Ali Shaz, who's highly respected, came through video conference for whatever logistical reasons. And it would be interesting to see how they're going to be able to implement on the ground. So I, for one, think we have to give it, it's the only game in town, so you have to give it all the support possible, and also try to bring people to the table to deliver after the phases that we know about, to get to eventual real peace. And I think that is what's fair for the Israelis, the Palestinians, and the wider region. But I think to write off the Board of Peace just because people don't like the style of the Trump administration or the way that it's happened would be wrong, because we need it to succeed.
Thank you. I'll go to all of you on that, Minister.
Yeah, we've worked a lot over the past year on this issue alongside Saudi Arabia and a number of other friends and partners. This work has culminated with a declaration, a text that indeed led all of us to step in each other's shoes. And that says basically, beyond the ceasefire, the humanitarian help, and the liberation of hostages, that Hamas should be called for what it is, a terrorist organization, condemned for its crime and excluded for any future of the governance in Palestine. That there should be an integration of Israel and the Arab countries that would lead them to stand into regional organizations such as the one we've seen grow in Asia or in Europe. And there should be a right to self-determination for the Palestinian people in a Palestinian state that would be demilitarized and that would be democratic. This declaration that was adopted at the General Assembly at the UN on September 12th at an overwhelming majority of nations, 142 against 10, opened the path, I believe, to the US-led efforts that came together during the high-level week at the UN, leading to the peace plan that President Trump presented. And that we've supported without reservation, because it had been consulted with our Arab partners, and because it mentioned this legitimate aspiration of the Palestinian people to statehood. And in the same way, we've supported the resolution of the Security Council that gives a legal basis for the Trump peace plan, and we've committed to support it in as much as we could and in many different ways. And what happened today was positive in the sense that we're seeing movement from phase 1 to phase 2 of the plan. We've heard that the US team announced that the Rafah passage might open. We've heard the US team mention repeatedly that the coordination and contact with the Palestinian Authority was live, which is all of what we need to avoid, this phase 1 of the ceasefire to come at a standstill. And so now we need to go further. If there were reservations, they have nothing to do with the Trump team or the style or anything. No, there was one question raised about the charter of the Board of Peace, its connection with the UN Security Council resolution that created the Board of Peace, and its focus. This morning, the inauguration of the Board of Peace was focused on Gaza, which is what we were expecting, and I think this is the right direction.
Thank you. We're almost at the end, so Nir, and then I'll close with Deputy Prime Minister. Nir first.
So super quickly, I totally agree, 100%. You cannot overstate the, put style aside, the positive impact President Trump, Wickoff, Jared Kushner have had on the region in delivering outcomes, not preaching, but actually delivering outcomes, starting from the Abraham Accords, that even through an incredibly tough several years have held up, and now in bringing people together. So I think it's really important to focus on the problem and the people that are actually making progress towards solving the problem and preventing suffering that has to stop. And it is important to get behind those people that have been delivering outcomes and call that out. So we totally agree on that.
Thank you. Deputy Prime Minister.
Well, we appreciate the intention. Poland supports a two-state solution. We've recognized Palestine for decades. We also believe in Israel's right to secure existence within internationally recognized borders. But as Jean-Noel mentioned, the charter of the Peace Council is a very unusual document. And it requires study. And also, its status is not yet clear to us. So, for example, in our constitutional system, it would require full ratification. And I understand it will not go to ratification by the US Senate. So you know, this is very fresh. We need more time to study.
Thank you so much, all of you, for actually a discussion which I like. So you were reacting to each other. I hope, of course, we could go on for a long time, but at least we touched upon some of the key things that are shaping the geopolitical landscape. So thank you so much. I'll give you the applause, if I could.